powwow is not just about the dancing. It's a way to be together. My mom, she won't miss it, will she?
Your mom ever missed a powwow? She'll be there.
It's beautiful, the relationship you both built in the story. So I wish you could both talk about this, you know, like if you knew each other before, if you met each other before, and how was this process?
We didn't know each other prior to filming. We met in the production office, and it was kind of like a, whoa, like we're the same.
Yeah.
You know, like it was kind of immediate, especially with, you know, the way we like to laugh a lot. And I think that with that laughter, it made set a really fun place to be. It already is, but it made it really lovely. It made it feel like a family. And so I think that connection that we had off screen definitely, you know, seeped its way into the film.
It was just an immediate, natural thing. Like, I know the search for Roki took about a year. I was signed on to do a feature with Erica, with a character that I knew kind of lived in a world like this, but I had no idea what the film would become. So when I read the script the first time, I was just like, all right, I want to make this. Let's find Roki. I want my Roki. And Erica found her, and I was asking, do you want me to like Zoom with her or anything? She's like, I think you guys are going to be good. She just had a sense immediately because she knows me well enough. And she like saw it in Isabel. And then, yeah, those first few days of rehearsal, it was just like, yeah, kind of like a call and response, this like little weird echo chamber. We would say the same thing at the same time in the same tone. Still happens all the time. So there's just, yeah, there was like an immediate familiarity there. And it was just such a pleasure. It was so fun.
We can feel it.
Hey, grab your stuff. Thought we could hit up the powwow.
Won't Grandpa be mad at you for taking his car?
We're just borrowing it.
Then why are we whispering?
You know, Isabel, I already talked to Lily about this. Like, I was always missing indigenous filmmakers to tell indigenous stories. As a Brazilian, you know, now we begin to have indigenous filmmakers in Brazil telling their stories, which is so much richer. It's so much more interesting than white people, you know. How do you both feel? Like, you're the young generation, Isabel, but also you, Lily. How do you feel about this future, you know?
I think it's an irreplaceable thing to have people who come from this world. You know, Erica and Michiana, their families do the work of keeping community together, of being on tribal government, of working with task forces that, you know, seek missing, murdered Indigenous people, or who are in community with kids that are in situations where they're struggling. You know, they're so intimately familiar. So writing the story, they found they had the same experience in a lot of ways. So the scenes all come from lived experience, and that, you know, you don't need to be demonstrative. You don't need to shove anything down anyone's throat. If it's real, if it can sit there and people can just engage with it. And I feel like when it's coming from Indigenous filmmakers, you're getting the perspective that brings you on the inside of what the experience is, rather than always looking at it like as a fishbowl, or like you're walking through a human zoo and trying to, you know, that's what art is supposed to do. It's a transcendent thing. It builds bridges, it builds compassion and understanding. And it's just, you know, I've never sat in a theater when the credits are rolling and felt the combination of what I feel when I'm done watching Fancy Dance. Marty said it when we were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon so much last year. Said it's one of the films of his. Killers of the Flower Moon is one of his only films that he feels like he can just sit and watch and enjoy as a film, because he really loves his film. There was something about making that for him, and I think possibly because so much of the process was working with Osage people to create and craft the world. So he got to have a bit of that experience in making it himself, and he just loves watching it. And that's how I feel about Fancy Dance. It's one film that I've done that I want to see immediately after I'm done, because I don't think you can get to that combination of joy, celebration, deep grief, just like it's an irreconcilable and unforgettable feeling that you're left with at the end of this feature. You know, that's Erica and Michiana. They were able to distill and deliver just this gut punch of what it is to be an Indigenous woman today.
It's Jack's Good Iron again. I'm calling about my sister's case.
What a Towie!
No, I did speak to the sheriffs.
What a Towie!
No, they said the res is federal jurisdiction.
I think what the film does really well is showing the reality of Indigenous lives. You know, even first reading the script, I saw myself in it. And that's something that you don't really feel ever. Even in my generation, you know, like I grew up really grasping at a few works here and there from Indigenous creatives. You know, I had like Smoke Signals and I had Spirit, the movie with the horse, and like those are all I had, and those were what I saw myself in, and that's all I could tell people about. But now with this new generation, you know, they get to look at films like Fancy Dance and they get to see themselves. You know, my younger sibling gets to see themselves represented on screen, and I think that's so, so important and so empowering, and, you know, the film does a great job of it.
That's true. Representation matters, isn't it?
Amber Alert out for the two of you.
If everybody's out looking for me, who's looking for my sister?
You know, Erica, I was talking to Lily and Isabel right now, and I talked to Lily a month ago as well about Fancy Dance. And I always think about this. I was always waiting for more female filmmakers from Indigenous background. So then I found you. You know, the first time I saw a film of you was in Sundance, was Little Chief. It was the first time I saw Lily as well. So I wish you could talk a little bit about this, because it's all about cinema, but, you know, you three, you all telling the story from, you know, inner point of view. It's so much more interesting for me. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, you know, I'm so grateful that Lily and I made Little Chief together, and it is what bonded us together as collaborators and also as friends. And it was making that film together that I think we recognized the response to a character like Sharon in Little Chief, who is modeled after my mother and my sister. And we knew we wanted to do something longer, something bigger, something more substantial together. And yeah, I think being an Indigenous woman, being a queer woman, being someone who has worked in the sex industry, being someone who has, you know, been raised in my community and been surrounded by so many incredible women and queer folks, I think I wanted to celebrate them. I wanted to talk about their strength, their resiliency, their humor, their love, their humanity, their laughter, their joy. And Michiana Elise, my co-writer, and I, we just embarked on a journey to tell a story of truth about our communities. And Fancy Dance is kind of the result of that endeavor. And I think we need more women telling stories. We need more women in the industry. I'm oftentimes the only woman in the room. I'm oftentimes the only woman on the tech scout. I'm the only woman in the room that's making decisions about projects. And what's so beautiful is when you kind of step in an Indigenous space, that's not the case. It's not the case on Reservation Dogs. You know, that's not the case on a film like Fancy Dance. And I think that that when you have this beautiful representation of in the room that's telling a story about themselves, you're going to get an authentic, you know, you're going to get an authentic product in the end. And so grateful to all of our partners that believed in this film and believed in the women behind it.
Dad, you ain't been at any of the searches.
I didn't come all the way out here to fight.
Why did you come?
I'm worried about your sister.
Hope she don't come back soon. The state's gonna take Roki.
And it's interesting that you were saying celebrating so many positive sides of these women, but also I like the way you show also the shades, you know, the dark areas of their personalities, you know, like human beings. That's the point. So how did you build the characters? You know, because I really like it's such a, of course, there's a plot and there's a strong plot, very strong. But I like the way it's also character driven. You know, like I really love the characters. I want to stay with them. You know, like you know, sometimes I'm angry with them, and sometimes I want to hug them. So, yeah, how do you build them? Like you were telling that it's based on women, you know, but how was to give form to them?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we deserve to have stories about the beautiful complexities of who we are as human beings. And it's very hard to survive an ongoing genocide without having the repercussions of what that means. And sometimes that means people fall into addictions. Sometimes that means people fall into, you know, making decisions or, you know, falling into a life of crime. Those are all responses to kind of the world that's been given to us as Native Americans. And so I'm always just so pissed off and angry when the police response to a missing person is, oh, well, this person does drugs, or oh, well, this person is a sex worker, or oh, well, this person. It's like, no, it doesn't matter what a person's lifestyle is. They deserve to be found, they deserve justice, they deserve to be looked for. And so I think we wanted to apply a deep humanity to these characters, and that despite the fact that they might not always be making decisions that we agree with, they are living, breathing human beings that deserve life, that deserve to be treated with respect and humanity and to be found. And so I think it was by design we made these characters complicated, because we are complicated as human beings, and everyone makes mistakes. None of us can sit here and say we haven't made mistakes in our lives, and we all deserve the same application of justice. And unfortunately, in modern America, that is not the case. And so hopefully by watching this film, people will be, you know, mesmerized by Jackson Roke's humanity, and, you know, recognize that their Native neighbors deserve the same love and respect.
They're full of dimension. That's why make people human. So I have to wrap, but thanks for the film and keep on filming. I'm looking forward to your next film.
Oh, thank you so much. I enjoyed talking with you.
How do you say
Auntie.
in the language? Noah.
What does it mean?
It means small mother. It means your other mother.
That's what you're supposed to be for me.